Imagine an emperor so powerful, so obsessed with immortality, that he built an entire army to conquer the afterlife. This isn't a fantasy movie plot. It's the real story of China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, and his silent subterranean legion, the Terracotta army. For over 2,000 years, this incredible force of more than 8,000 soldiers, 130 chariots, and hundreds of horses lay hidden beneath the fields of China. It wasn't until 1974, when local farmers drilling a well accidentally struck a clay head, that one of the greatest archaeological discoveries of all time was unearthed. What they found wasn't just a collection of statues. It was a window into the mind of a ruler who reshaped a nation and planned to rule forever. So, who was Qin Shi Huang? Before him, China was a patchwork of warring states. He was a brilliant, ruthless visionary who conquered them all, unifying China for the first time in 221 BCE. He standardized currency, weights, and measures. He even standardized the width of cart axles to create a national road system, and most famously, he commissioned the first version of the Great Wall. This man didn't just think big. He thought on a scale that was almost unimaginable. His obsession with control extended beyond his life. He was terrified of death and relentlessly pursued the elixir of immortality. But as a backup plan, he decided if he had to go to the afterlife, he wouldn't go alone. He would take the most powerful army in the world with him. This is where the Terracotta army comes in. But forget any idea of mass-produced, identical statues. Each one of these life-sized figures is a unique work of art. Stand in front of them, and you'll see no two faces are the same. You'll find young, fresh-faced recruits standing next to grizzled mustachioed veterans. There are archers, infantrymen, generals, and chariot drivers, each with distinct hairstyles, armor, and expressions. Some look determined, some calm, some are caught in the heat of battle. Archaeologists believe the process was a marvel of ancient assembly line production. Different workshops would specialize in making heads, torsos, arms, and legs. These components were then assembled, and master artisans would add the fine, individual details to the faces and uniforms. Think about it. A project involving an estimated 700,000 laborers, working for decades, all to create an army that no living person was ever meant to see. And what's even more mind-blowing, when these soldiers were first unearthed, they weren't the plain, earthy clay color we see today. They were painted in a riot of vibrant colors, bright reds, blues, greens, and purples. Imagine the sight. A whole army, painted in lifelike detail, standing in perfect battle formation, ready for their emperor's command. Sadly, the moment the ancient lacquer and paint were exposed to the dry Shan air after millennia underground, they began to flake and peel away, often within minutes. It's a tragic loss. Today, scientists are racing against time, using advanced techniques to preserve the color on newly excavated figures. Every fragment of remaining paint is a precious clue to the army's original, spectacular appearance. The level of detail is just staggering. Look at the soldiers' armor. You can see the individual plates and the rivets holding them together. Look at the soles of their shoes. The treads are carved with intricate patterns. This wasn't just about making soldiers. It was about recreating reality, down to the smallest detail, to ensure the emperor's power in the next world was absolute. Even the horses are magnificent, with flared nostrils and tensed muscles, as if ready to charge at any moment. The army is arranged in 4 main pits. Pit number 1 is the largest and most famous, a massive rectangular formation with over 6,000 figures, representing the main infantry and chariot force. It's like a military parade frozen in time. Pit 2 is a more complex, U-shaped formation containing cavalry, archers, and war. Chariots, a mobile strike force. Pit 3 is the smallest, believed to be the command post, with high-ranking officers and a war chariot. And then there's Pit 4, Itese. Empty. Archaeologists believe it was left unfinished, a silent testament to the sudden death of the emperor. The grand plan was cut short, and the laborers likely abandoned their work as the Qin dynasty quickly crumbled after its founder's death. It's a haunting reminder that even the most powerful plans can be undone by fate. But here's the most tantalizing part of the story. This incredible army is just the tip of the iceberg. The soldiers are merely the guardians. About a mile away lies a massive, man-made pyramid-like mound, larger than the Great Pyramid of Giza at its base. Beneath this mound is the final resting place of Qin Shi Huang himself, and his tomb remains sealed. Why haven't we opened it? For two main reasons. Respect for the site, and very real, very ancient threats. The ancient historian Sima Qian, writing about a century after the emperor's death, described the tomb in terrifying detail. He wrote that the tomb is a microcosm of the emperor's domain, with a ceiling depicting the heavens with pearls, and a floor laying out the geography of his empire. And here is the really chilling part. He claimed that the rivers and seas of this miniature landscape were recreated with flowing, liquid mercury, and modern scientific surveys have confirmed it. Soil samples from around the burial mound show abnormally high concentrations of mercury, lending incredible credibility to these ancient accounts. Opening the tomb could release a toxic cloud of mercury vapor. Sima Qian also wrote that the tomb is protected by automated crossbows, set to fire at anyone who dares to enter. Are these booby traps still functional after 2,200 years? Nobody knows for sure, but no one is eager to be the first to find out. For now, the technology to safely excavate the tomb without destroying its contents or endangering the excavators simply doesn't exist. We learned a hard lesson with the vanishing paint on the warriors. Imagine opening the main tomb, filled with priceless silks, jades, and other organic materials, only to watch them disintegrate into dust upon contact with the air. The risk is too great. So, the heart of this vast necropolis, the tomb of the man who started it all, remains a mystery. What secrets does it hold? Is it really a miniature kingdom with rivers of mercury? Are the deadly crossbows still waiting for intruders? We can only guess. The Terracotta army is more than just an archaeological wonder. It's a story of ambition, power, and a desperate search for immortality. It shows us a world where one man's will could mobilize an entire nation to build a secret, underground empire. It's a silent, powerful monument to the first emperor of China, a man who conquered the known world and then set his sights on conquering eternity itself. And his greatest secret, the contents of his final resting place, is still waiting, protected by its silent guards and ancient, deadly secrets. Thanks so much for watching. If you're fascinated by ancient mysteries like this one, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into history. See you next time.